What up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy Chef, and you already know what time it is. It's time for the YAK Pod, episode number 8. Now, let's talk about it. CJ Gardner Johnson. Why are the fans divided about CJ Gardner Johnson? I don't know, but we're going to try to figure out what the reason is. Now, if we look at what his teammates have said, teammates want him back, which means the fans should want him back. If the teammates love him, the teammates want him in the locker room, the teammates believe that he's coaching them up, that he's helping them get better, that he brings that energy, that he brings that dog, that he brings that accountability in the locker room, why, oh, why are the fans so hell-bent, and I mean the fans that don't want him back, so hell-bent on not bringing him back? We have people going crazy, saying crazy, wild stuff. And I understand in the moment, the NFC Championship game, he didn't play well. But that was his third game of the season? His fourth game, right? He played the first week against the Chiefs, had some pass breakups, almost had an interception in that game. Uh, in the second game against the Seahawks, he played injured almost the entire game because he injured himself, I believe, on the first drive, tore his pec, and then played the rest of the game. Then he was out until the Bucks game, right? Picked off Baker Mayfield. They had their back and forth during the week. He said that the Tampa Bay Bucks receiving core would be great if you get him a good quarterback. And then he mentioned Russell Gage, and then Baker Mayfield came back and said, "Oh, I don't think he watches a lot of film. Russell Gage hasn't played a snap for us all year because Russell Gage had suffered a season-ending injury in the preseason." So then he comes back and says, "Oh, I watch film plenty." Ask the guy that was there before you, talking about Tom Brady, okay? Because then Tom Brady, had the famous thing where he was breaking the Microsoft Surface tablet, and that happened against CJGJ and the Saints after he had picked him off, right? So then fast forward to the game, he picks Baker Mayfield off early in the game. Then he flips the ball to Baker Mayfield. He didn't get flagged for it, so everyone loved it. Everyone loved it. Oh, CJGJ's a dog. He's this, that, and the third thing. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at that. Right? Like fans do. Nobody had any problems with any of that. Everybody was loving it. But then as soon as we go to the NFC Championship game, we know he had a season-long beef with Deebo Samuel. And he said he could guard him, and he said he was a running back. He's not really a receiver, yada, yada, yada. Okay, well, come the NFC Championship game, they weren't really matched up on each other like that. So if they're not really matched up on each other like that, why are there echoes from people talking about, ooh, Deebo got him, Deebo did this, Deebo did that? Not really, because go back and look at the percentage of the plays. Deebo wasn't downfield making a lot of catches. Most of Deebo's catches were close to the line of scrimmage, within 5 to 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a safety. He wasn't manned up on Deebo Samuel for the entirety of the game, right? Very few snaps was he manned up on Deebo Samuel. And then you had that penalty, which was a chest bump. He chest bumped Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel flopped, and then he got hit with a 15-yard penalty. Now, you can't do that. Can't hurt your team. But it was a chest bump. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't a hit. It was a chest bump. That was a terrible penalty, in my estimation. I understand they called it an illegal blindside block, but it was literally a chest bump. There was no malice. There was no thrust. There was no force. There was nothing. It was a chest bump. Okay. So they got hit with a 15-yard penalty. that took the touchdown away. Oh, wait, no, it didn't. They scored on that drive. Now, if it had taken away the interception by Malcolm Rodriguez, right, then I could understand the problem with it. Again, as they say in basketball, ball don't lie, right? So they called that little ticky tack penalty for 15 yards, negating the return of the interception. But the interception was still ours. The possession was still ours. And we got 7 points out of that possession. That's a nothing. It's a nothing burger, right? No harm, no foul. Okay. Boom. We're up 21-7. CJGJ is waving to the fans. Okay. We had the momentum at the time. We were punching the 49ers in the mouth. There was no issue with that. He was on the sideline waving to the fans. He didn't get flagged for it. It wasn't a penalty. Nobody would have known anything about it if the camera didn't pan on to him waving to the fans. But again, the Lions players have said things like that get them fired up. They get them ready to play. They keep them in the zone. And this is what we want. So why, oh why, is it such a problem when CJ Gardner-Johnson talks like he always talks? I mean, at the beginning of the season, not even in the off season, oh man, people were loving how he was talking, and then training camp came and he was talking and starting fights and practice, and everybody's energy level was high. And Kirby Joseph was talking about he was a dog and he was a vocal leader and he brought that energy. And Brian Branch, as I said, already said to bring him back. Tracy Walker was talking about him. Aiden Hutchinson was talking about him. These guys are talking about him. He's a vital piece of their team. He's a glue guy in the locker room. Now, nobody is saying to break the bank for CJ Gardner-Johnson. No one is saying to bring him back on a multi-year $15 million deal. All right? And I mean $15 million per. Nobody is saying that. So why can't we bring him back? Because all of the things that we lauded him and praised him for in the offseason and training camp coming into the season, those things surely can't just become bad because we lost the NFC Championship game. Now, anybody that had a problem with the ski masks, I mean, they were sold out. When CJGJ said, everybody go get blue ski masks and wear them to the game, the Seahawks game, they were sold out, right? I mean, you had to go to Amazon. You know what I'm saying? I got 2 of them things. You know what I'm talking about? I got 2 of them things. You had to go to Amazon to get them. Because they were sold out. So now people have problems with the ski mask. People thought the reason that we lost the Seahawks game was the ski mask. People were like, oh, they're clowning us. Yeah, I was upset that they were clowning us in the locker room with the ski mask after they just escaped. It's not like they blew us out. We did things and shot ourselves in the foot to lose that game. It's not like they just had it in hand and they just beat our ass and then they were in the locker room. I mean, the guy that was doing the video didn't even really play much. So, but there is a really big Wolverines fan. Go Blue. You already know. But there's a really big Wolverines fan on a certain network who has a huge problem with CJGJ and his antics. And he had a huge problem with the ski mask. But he has no problem with the turnover buffs. Why doesn't he have a problem with the turnover buffs? Is that not a distraction? I mean, do they not go over to the sidelines and put the turnover buffs on and taking pictures and all these things? Do they not do that? Why is it a problem with CJGJ? What did he do? What did he do? Did he smack your kid? Did he kick your dog? What did CJGJ do that was so terrible? Why isn't he a vital part of this team even when his teammates said he's a vital part of the team? Why are there fans that just, they don't get that? They don't understand that. Why? Please tell me why. Put it in the comments below. What is your beef with CJGJ that you have that his teammates don't seem to have? What is it? Because I don't know. Maybe if we want to look at the numbers, we can talk about his propensity to miss games. Let's see. He missed a bunch of games. He missed almost the entire season. He missed 15 regular season games this year. Right? Because he played in 2 and didn't play for the rest of the season. Okay, cool. When he was with the Eagles the year before, he played 12 games. The Saints the year before, he played 12 games. And then the Saints the year before that, he missed 1 game. And the Saints the year before that, he missed 1 game. Okay. It was 2020, so I believe they were in the 17-game season at that point. So he missed 2 games. Right? But all the while, when he was with the Eagles and he was only playing 12 games, he led the league with 6 interceptions. For his career, he has 240 tackles. Right? He's got, 12 interceptions. He's got 39 passes defense. Right? I mean, he was widely regarded as the best safety in the league just a year prior to coming here. So he comes here after being regarded as the best safety in the league because he only played 12 games and was leading the league with 6 interceptions. And then he comes and he misses essentially the entire season. And then his first game back in the playoffs against Baker Mayfield, he picks him off. Just like he told you. He told you he studies film. And he picked him off. And then he had a bad game against the 49ers. He was the lowest rated PFF player in the NFC Championship game. I mean, if we're looking at his past performances, right? Because past performances are an indicator of future success. So if we're looking at these things from that lens, why is CJGJ not a part of your future plans? Especially if it's going to be another 1-year prove-it deal because he didn't play games for us this season. He played 3 or 4, right? So what's the issue? Why is CJGJ such like it's like a non-starter for some of the fans? Like, nah, we good. We don't need CJGJ. We could talk about the emergence of Brian Branch. We could talk about the emergence of Ife Melifanu. We could talk about those things. But at the same time, if CJGJ is willing to come back as a part of the rotation because he understands who Brian Branch is and who he's becoming. He understands who Ife Melifanu is and who he's becoming. He understands that also if he comes back, there's going to be a lot of 3 safety looks. He's going to get his PT. He's never been a locker room cancer. If he was a locker room cancer, there wouldn't be so many people speaking up for him in the locker room. Right? Look at Russell Wilson. When Russell Wilson was going through his stuff in Seattle, and wasn't nobody speaking up for him. They weren't. Because he had maybe lost the locker room. So again, I just want to know, like, the fans that are so opposed to bringing CJGJ back, like, they're just like, this guy is one of the worst players that the Lions have ever signed. What are you basing that off of? A few incidents and a bad game, which was his 4th game of the season? Really? He just came off a torn pec. He can't be rusty. I understand the NFC Championship game is not when you want rust. But I mean, can we cut the guy some slack? Can we cut him a break? I mean, there are more people that want to bring Emmanuel Mosley back than CJ Gardner Johnson. And that one I really can't understand because God bless him. But he rehabbed an injury for a season, pretty much, and then came back. And 3 snaps later, he was out again for the season for the other knee. And we're still, after not seeing him play but 3 snaps, we're still willing to believe that Emmanuel Mosley is going to return to form. Now with 2 torn ACLs. And we're not willing to understand or willing to bet or willing to predict that CJ Gardner Johnson will return to form if he plays for an entire season or at least 12 games. I don't get it, y'all. But like I said, man, let me know in the comments below what your issue is with CJ Gardner Johnson. Okay? And let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. But as always, like, subscribe, smash the like button. I mean, hit it as hard as you can. Subscribe. And as they say in the business, be a friend, tell a friend, share the stream, share it with the people, share the pod, let them get some of this yak. You understand what I'm talking about? And I'm going to see you next time. Peace.